Welcome back to another episode of the Howard Half Hour. Last time we talked about comment sections and how it's really bringing forth the end to any intelligent conversation on the internet. Well, anyway, let's talk about something that's sort of in the light of intelligent conversation, and that is reviews. I can't even count how many bad reviews I have seen. If you ever seen my little video I made called the Microsoft Store, and that's just a series I made streaming with a friend of mine, where we just read out the ridiculous reviews of stuff, where it would be overreactions to the word darn or curses, and ranging from that, and then from ranging from this flat out lies or this game suck a real bad, and other very low brain stuff. All right, I just want to inform people who don't know how to use reviews. Okay. Here's how the star section work, okay? If there's a 0 star, that means it's worse, it has no redeemable qualities, and it's bad in every single way. The writing's bad, the gameplay's bad, countless things about it are bad, okay? 1 star means that, despite it being really bad, there's like 1 or 2 sections which either have good ideas, or they're good, or they're like well written, but everything else is bad, you know. This kind of factors into everything. Well, later on, the stars are going to be like a game related, or like 2 stars. It's below average. It had high expectations, but it performed lower. It's not average enough to be considered. Well, in modern day society, since everybody rates higher, a 2-star rating is actually pretty low and very bad. If there's no 0-star rating, then 1 star would be easily replaced with that. Okay. Anyway, 2-star means that at a core, it's like okay, but the writing, the acting and stuff like that, like or the wordplay or the what's I think it's called angles or something. All of that just wasn't there. Or in a reverse thing, all of that was there, but the core was terrible. You know, like there's like a slightly redeemable trait, but you know, like you say that you like aspects of it, but you say that the dislikes overweigh that. Now let's get to 3-star, which is the middle of the pack, which means there's 2 stars below it, 2 stars above it. That usually means that you're half and half on the game that should mean you're half and half on the game. Modern 3-star means that it's bad, it's sucky. But 3-star, how it should be used is that it's half and half, and that there's goods and bads, and you might just say that they like intertwine, and that they're that they're like there's good parts, there's bad parts, and maybe there's a section which is very long and monotonous, and then there's a section that's very entertaining to read. You know, not like a tennis match of bad and good, but like where the good and bad match up to each other, and to that, like a 3 stars to the point that you actually might recommend it to somebody. 2 and 1 star is where you probably wouldn't recommend it, or you would recommend it to make fun of it. Now let's get to 4-star. 4-star should be the most typical rating when it comes to stuff you like. 4-star means that the ideas are there, the concepts are there. Most of them's like the core is there, the core story, the core acting, the core all that is there, and it's great, you know. But through one means or another, like a disappointment, or you know that they could have done better in situations or in aspects of the story or whatever, then that's when it comes to 4-star. I like to consider 4-star almost perfect or great. That's what I consider 4-star. 5-star, though, should be the rarest star rating you give anything in the world, okay? I know it's probably the most common now, but it should be the rarest. 5 stars means that there's nothing wrong with the game or story or whatever, the movie. There's nothing wrong with it. You feel like everything is done all right. It's entertaining, you love it, and you would recommend it to anybody. 5 stars should be a perfect thing. Now, let's get to how people actually review things. There's 2 ratings for them. 5-star and 1-star. 1-star means it's bad and they don't like it. 5-star means it's good and they like it. It shouldn't be like that. That's why we have 5 stars to choose from, or in some cases 6 without including the first star. We have 5 to 6 stars to choose from, and they only choose 2. You know, I just don't get it. Like, I can't even count how many times I read a 5-star review or a 5.5-star review. Well, that's another thing. You can also have half stars. Anyway, a 5-star review. 5.5 doesn't. Anyway, 5-star review where they say something like, "Oh man, the story's great. I love the gameplay. It's so fun and all this, but it's a little buggy here and there." but I dislike how these things are balanced, but they mention flaws. Like I said, 5 stars should be the perfect, the exact thing you wanted it to be, and the exact thing that you would love. But people say it's 5 stars, but then point out negative things. For instance, I read a review once that was like 5 stars, but then the guy went off on a tangent about how they're pushing buying stuff in stores. It's a modern game trend now. In-app purchases is what they call it. They're pushing in-app purchases. Like a bunch of bad things about the game. And in those situations, I say if you like everything but that should be a 4-star. Or if you have the 10-star rating, that should be a 4.5 star. But, that's just a rating system we come to. You see the very occasional person who takes it seriously. Like, I've only wrote a couple of reviews, but still, I have a lot of experience with dealing with reviews, though, because I've read a lot of them. They should help anybody, purchase a game or not. Because your review should tell somebody else, like, would you recommend this game or not? And if they see your review and it's a 1-star review and they go like, oh man, I can see his points, then they might research on it further, or better yet, they might take your opinion seriously and hold off on buying the game. That's the purpose of reviews, or reading the book or watching. Oh, that's the purpose of reviews right there. But why, I ask, did it come to reviews only being good or bad? This is not the YouTube like and dislike system. I know the YouTube used to have the 5-star, 1-star system or whatever, but they got rid of that for the sole purpose of what I'm saying, that they only rated one of 2 things. And I don't want reviews to go away like that. If reviews go away in the same aspect that the YouTube rating system went away, then it's going to be terrible. You won't be able to take in the valid criticism or the valid praise of games anymore. It'll just be, I like it or I hate it. And that's the sort of thing we're going to right now, with everybody voting either 1 or 5 stars. Mostly 5. It just sucks. Because you see a 5-star review about a game that they like, and then you play it, it's got plenty of flaws, and you would have rather voted it a 3 or 4. It's just misleading, and it sucks. You need to give it some complex thought beyond a simple sentence and a 5-star rating. Like, come on. I'm not asking a lot of people. I'm just telling them to put a little bit of effort into it. Or if you don't want to write a review and just put in your star rating, do it. Okay? Do it. You can do it. You could put a 5-star rating and say nothing, or a 4-star rating, or 4-star rating and say nothing, or a 0-star rating and say nothing. But a 5-star rating and then say, I like the game. That's the worst thing you can do. And worse off, I hear some people even review things without playing them or reading them. Like, I heard a review that was the worst I've ever heard before, which was it seems interesting, but like it's in a perspective of a female. I'm a male, so I don't really get female perspectives that much, but I'll let you know once I'm finished reading it, or once I get started reading it. You can't write a review off of looking at the cover of something. Like, if I was to pick up the cover of something like Mass Effect, then I say, looks like a bunch of race characters over like a star field in a starship. I don't like star stuff that much. Okay, it doesn't really relate with me, and I dislike the concept of sci-fi, but I haven't read it yet, so I'll see if I can come to a better conclusion once I read it or play the game. And at that point, you need to look at yourself and asking, what are you reviewing? The cover? If you were reviewing the damn cover of something, you'd be reviewing the cover of it on some weird, obscure, rate the cover of this thing, .com or something, where your first impressions of something your first impressions of the cover of something can be put in perspective, where people can look at the way you look at covers and take it seriously. Okay? I'm sorry, but in my opinion, if you're gonna review something, you at least have to play it or read it a decent amount in. I say maybe I would prefer 100% of the way through. I'm sure everybody who's ever read reviews would prefer a 100% playthrough of that guy, and then gameplay wise, you don't have to get through all 100 collectibles, or just like beat the whole story, or beat the like majority. Anyway, just that's what we would prefer. But at the borderline, I think a lot of people would agree, maybe getting at least 30% of the way through something before you write a review is what you should do. Okay. That's how reviews should go. That's how people should write it. They shouldn't read the cover of a book and say, "Oh, it takes a female perspective. I cannot identify with that. So I'm gonna say it's like a 3-star rating, and then maybe change my rating when I've done reading it." How about you just wait and then read it and then write your dumb little review, or like, I don't know, masterpiece review. Nobody cares. Nobody on the review thing is going to be looking through it and see, "Oh yeah, a female perspective. Huh, that's going to affect the way No, they're going to look at you like an idiot, because you are an idiot, you fool." Anyway, that's the sort of ridiculousness that reviews are going through right now. And in a way that's kind of similar to comments and YouTube comments, where people would kind of review the thing that they're commenting on. It's mostly just empty praise or weird like emotions. But anyway, that's just like the gist of reviews. And then, I can't believe I talked about that. Well, anyway, like comment reviews, there's also video reviews and all this sort of reviews. Where video reviews, they put a lot of, video reviews, they put a lot of more effort into it. Well, sometimes they deliberately, or quite idiotically, miss like things like I talked about last time, like symbolism, stuff like that. But that's what critiquing's for, really. I mean, video reviews kind of seem worthless. I feel like you can summarize how you feel about a book or game in just like a paragraph or 2 paragraphs if you need it. Well, if it's very complex, like a 4.5 star rating, you might need 3 paragraphs, but that's as far as I'm gonna go. You don't need to make like an hour video about review stuff. I mean, I appreciate it, and I love hour videos of review. It just shows how much the guy loves the game, or in some cases hates the game, or girl. Like, I appreciate it, yeah, but if you're looking for like, I feel like we should probably keep like a creative consistency about it. I don't feel like every game deserves I don't feel like we should give every game a hour-long walkthrough documentaries type stuff. However, reviews involving documentaries are really great too. Like, oh man, in the beta, they're probably a lot better. Like, you can do a lot of stuff with reviews. And the hour reviews, I'm going to take back what I said. I actually kind of like them, because that's just, like I said, it shows the dedication and the love and the respect for the game or the book or TV show. It's that's how useful reviews are. Like, I can't even count how many times I bought a game surely off of a review, whether it be video or a written review. And reviews also help you with some stuff like there's some reviews for stuff like Oblivion or other older stuff that recommend that you get mods or you play a certain way to you get the maximized enjoyment of stuff. Like, reviews can literally be used for so much good. But instead, a lot of people are using it to be stupid. There's, of course, the anti-LGBTQ plus stuff with the with review stuff, where like Battlefield will have like a black girl piloting a tank or something, and people will flip out because they're like, back in the day, women couldn't freaking pilot tanks. I tell you, that's just wrong. Not just that, but you're pushing on a... Well, anyway, it's kind of like, who cares? It's a make-believe game. I doubt Battlefield has been going for realism when you can literally drive up walls, drive up buildings with APCs, and jump out of airplanes literally midway in the sky, and then like hop in another airplane that's going below you. You know, like, Battlefield hasn't been realistic in the slightest, and I don't feel like in games that are unrealistic as hell, you should ever question the historic accuracies of stuff, because you're just taking the game too seriously at that point when it's just I'm not going to say that it's a joke, but there's a lot of like unrealistic things going on in that game, like how I think in Battlefield 1, where it's a World War 1 or whatever, they have tons of inaccuracies with weapons, but they have to have it for game balance and gameplay wise stuff, you know. Well, it's like, you should probably think of it first as a game before you think of it first as an accuracy thing. I mean, I have played a lot of everybody is a white guy, World War II and World War I games, and frankly, I'm growing tired of it. Okay, I'm sure everybody is. Where freaking we're just white buzz cut guy. Like, I thought white buzz cut guy went out of style in 2006, but no, apparently everybody wants white buzz cut guy, main character for every army game ever, to be back. And I hate it. I was watching a Halo Wars gameplay, Halo Wars 1, and I swear this Cole McGrath looking guy is the main character, or like, I think main character. Well, he's like a primary unit or something, and that boy does not shut up. And I was like, wow, I forgot. In the 2000s, all the main characters were white freaking buzz cut losers, and that's what everybody wants things to be now. White buzz cut losers again. I can't wait for a future where all I see is white buzz cut losers. Yippee! That's exactly what we need in freaking game stuff and all this jazz. Frankly, if I see another white buzz cut losers, well, if I never see a white buzz cut loser main character again, it would be too soon. What am I talking about? I'm talking about reviews now, and that's just the premise about their argument. I don't really know. Like, I guess you should try to push for historical accuracies to give the respects to the people who like fought in the war and stuff, and you try to make it as most close. Like, you'll probably get better review points for making it closer to a realistic simulation, But honestly, in this day and age where customization in video games is very key, I say you shouldn't try to take that away. Although I miss the times where customization wasn't a thing and everybody was different. Like when you played as a certain team, you were different than the others. But now everybody it's all about balancing, giving each other the same things, or in some cases where people are different, try to balance it where some things are good on what, like, for instance, CS:GO has a bunch of exclusive weapons for each side, but that thing went through, like, I don't know, probably 8-9 years of professional playing and stuff like that, where people would see the balances and stuff like that and actually do work it accordingly. Like, that's the type of games that I miss right there. Like Haze, for example, an obscure PlayStation 3 game that's one of my favorite games of all time. You had two sides, Mantell and the Rebellion. I forget what they were called. Mantell was amazing. You were dudes in power suits who were on drugs, and it's great. You were drugged out super soldiers running around shooting people, and your armor had auto zoom in features, which was so cool. And like, when you drugged up, you also moved faster, but you had a terrible disadvantage, which is you were on drugs, so that can be used against you. The enemies can play dead. The enemies can make gas grenades that make you go on an absolute rampage. What am I talking about? I was talking about reviewing lore accuracies and how if there was actually lore accuracies and stuff like Battlefield, people would use different weapons, but I'm pretty sure everybody can use the same weapons. I think I heard that the older Battlefield games, you can only use weapons determining on what country you're from, which causes a lot more balancing issues and stuff like that. But, like I said, people are more pushing towards the neutral, the balancing, where everything is more or less the same. Some things are better, but they have their negatives, But back to the review states. I wonder if you can review stuff like streams, or that's really something I never really seen reviews for. I'm sure that when you could like look up a stream review site or something where they review streamers and stuff like that, or whether or not their content's good. But you probably wouldn't see that, because, like, well, what can I say? Oh man, a streamer typically is good at games, or, oh man, streamers technically have good videos. Or, same thing with YouTube stuff, where they took away the like-dislike thing, unfortunately, which means you can't see whether or not people like a video or not. It's always going to be typically liked over disliked. You seldom see any videos that have more dislikes than likes. Like, I know there's a plugin to show it again, but that's like only for PC, or if it is for mobile, it requires some weird stuff, and I would rather not do it. I just hope they bring it back at some point. I know they're not, but I just hope they do. That's kind of like a review thing where you can see that more people like it and not. And wait, you can see the likes, but you can't see the dislikes, right? I think that's how it works. I don't remember. Anyway, like that's the exact that's one of the exact points about reviews, which sucks that it doesn't exist on my favorite site ever, YouTube. And that's why I'm really more concerned about the future of like YouTube. I can't even see dislikes on my video anymore. All YouTube is telling me on the studio stuff is how much, what people are watching. They don't really tell me whether or not I get dislikes, which kind of removes the point, right? Like remember people complained about Facebook back in the day having only a like system and they didn't have a dislike system. People were complaining about that, and then Facebook said, if you don't like the comment, then don't do nothing at all. Why doesn't YouTube just do that? If they're trying to get rid of negative feedback, then just get rid of it. Why is it still there as a false choice? You can only see it with plugins, which are third party, I'm pretty sure. And even then, like, I still don't get it. You have the solution to your problem right there. You want a safe zone where nobody can have any sort of negative reinforcements outside from comments. And comments are not even freaking negative reinforcements anymore. That reminds me of a one community post I seen where a guy said, like, oh man, everybody said they would want to watch a video like this in my polls that I made. But then nobody actually watched the videos. Like, what's up with that? And then tons of comments were finding excuses and stuff like that. And I go like that feedback is useless. I wish I could have gave that guy a better answer than these guys. Like, oh man, I have it in my watch later playlist. I'm gonna watch it later. Don't worry. Or, oh man, I would rather watch these videos. Like, oh man, that sort of comments kind of suck and just derail the whole flamber jammer. It's just, it's off. I'd rather not see a poll thing full of excuses. I'm sure it's better than probably telling him the truth. Like, oh man, I probably didn't want to watch that video. I was just trying to be positive. Like, for instance, I don't even know what the poll he's talking about, but I remember him talking about it, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, I probably need to give a good reason. And I thought about it, and I was like, oh, I just didn't want to watch it. I didn't even remember that poll or the video that he posted. Probably that's maybe another fault, is having polls. You have like true. It gives you like better things to be more prepared for. Like, if I had a poll like, would you like to see I don't know, freaking Hungry Hippo gameplay? Yes, no. Like those those two choices are probably a lot better than like, what board game would you like me to play? And then just it's that, and then you just read the comments, and then maybe, yeah, sure, for like a majority of them say, I'd like to see Hungry Hippo or something like that, and then it would be like, great. That's probably what you got to do, instead of having a poll where you have a select choices that majority of people might just not want to choose anything, or worse off, they choose what they think isn't going to be the worst thing in the bunch. Like, maybe they choose the best thing in the bunch, surely because it's the best thing, or it's the thing that they like the most. So that causes like a lot of issues with that. So that's why I say you shouldn't have polls for content ideas. You should still have like polls for like for like community stuff. Like, oh man, do you think Jeremy from freaking, I don't know, Three Houses is the house? I don't know. Like, let's just say Jeremy from, I don't know, Magical Adventures with Dave is a great character, and then like, yes, no, maybe, or like that would be good. Like, okay, a majority of my fans said that Davey, or whatever I named him, Jeremy was actually a really well written, good character. So, and then like, I have to agree with that, or I have to disagree. Like, it works in that way. Like, it works as a poll. It doesn't work as content ideas. That's probably the issues that people are running into with this stuff. Like, YouTube comment polls and reviews and stuff like that. Like, that's the very like strange issue. And another thing about reviews, I hear everybody harping on the Nostalgia Critic, and I gotta ask why. I know his producers or whatever are assholes, and were assholes or like sexist or something. I forget. And then he had like he had a friend who tried to engage in illicit sexual activities, or did, and like he tried to blow it under the rug. Like, you gotta understand that they're a company first, okay? And I'm pretty sure if you had like a small-time business like, I don't know, Davy's Frosty Freeze, and it turns out that your manager is like a crazy psychopath, you'd probably want to fire him discreetly and never mention this to anybody again. Because I doubt, like, I don't know, freaking Jeremy is going to want to go over to Davy's Frosty Freeze when he hears that their manager used to be a psycho killer, you know? Like, it's like called keeping up an image or something. You got to remember that they're a freaking company first, okay? And one of their ex-employees turned out to be a illicit monster who then died. You gotta realize that they gotta try to like make it less bad than what it is, because that's what all companies do. Every single company, like, I can't even count how many bad sexual assault allegations come out, and then like a couple of weeks later, they're like, it's not even a big deal. People don't even mention it. It's not that bad. Don't worry about it. Like, and then nobody from them gets like, they get flack for a day, and then it's all like blown over. But then freaking for Nostalgia Critic, one of his friends was accused for that. So of course you take the side of your friend if he's accused. And it turns out without a doubt he's like truthful about it, and he died. And you made like memorial videos, and then people shaming him about memorial videos about a very bad man. And I don't know, like, imagine if you had a best friend and it turned out that your best friend was actually really crazy, and then he died, like a really crazy, terrible person that killed people. You never knew this side of him. You just knew him as that guy who walked your dog or took care of your pet cat or drove you to your grandma's house at one time. You don't know him as a psychopath murderer. So you're trying to respect your memories of him when he was a good person. You're not trying to glorify his murderous sprees. You're not. And I don't know why people keep blaming Nostalgia Critic for trying to cover it up. Everybody tries to cover that stuff up. I'm sure if you had a friend who did a lot of bad things, you try to cover it up for him. Or you're a terrible friend. But I'm not trying to say you should ever cover up stuff. Probably more often than not, you should probably tell police about it. But you gotta remember that these people are human, okay? And we attack the little guys instead of attacking the big bad guys who need to be attacked. But anyway, that's why I hear people hate Nostalgia Critic, because he tried to cover up something. And then his reviews, like, people say he made bad takes in 2008. Let me count real quick. It's 2023 right now. 13 years, 2 more on that. 15 years ago? He made a bad take 15 years ago. You're an invalid excuse for a reviewer. You're an invalid excuse for a reviewer yourself, because people make bad takes, and when it's over 15 years ago, who cares? Alright, this will be the conclusion for this Howard half hour. I hope you enjoyed your time. See you the next time I decide to do something like this. Adios.